There is a particular place on a woman's body that quietly exposes what she truly feels. And the instant she's comfortable letting you near it, something deeper has already shifted. Her mind has relaxed, her emotions have opened, and her guard has lowered. This isn't about gimmicks, rehearsed lines, or exaggerated confidence. What you're about to understand goes far beyond surface attraction. It will change how you interpret every subtle reaction a woman gives you from this point forward. Take a moment and really absorb this, because the subject we're stepping into isn't about clever tactics. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing how a woman communicates through her body long before she ever puts anything into words. In nearly every interaction, there's an unspoken dialogue unfolding. Most men never notice it, not because they lack intuition, but because they were never taught what to look for. Think back to a time when you walked away from a conversation unsure of where you stood. Maybe she smiled, engaged, and seemed pleasant, yet something felt ambiguous. Or perhaps she was friendly, but you sensed distance you couldn't quite explain. That uncertainty usually isn't about what you said. It comes from missing the quiet physical signals that were happening the entire time. Once you begin recognizing them, attraction stops feeling mysterious and starts becoming readable. The reality is simple. Attraction is rarely declared, but it is constantly expressed. Not through dramatic flirting or obvious gestures, but through small, instinctive responses. These reactions often occur beneath conscious thought. A woman's body responds automatically to how she experiences your presence. Those responses tend to be more honest than anything she might verbalize. Understanding this layer is what separates guessing from knowing. When a woman allows certain kinds of proximity or touch, she isn't just being polite. Her nervous system is evaluating in real time. Without thinking, she's asking herself whether she feels comfortable, whether she trusts you, whether your presence puts her at ease or creates tension. Her body answers those questions instantly. This is why two men can behave in the exact same way and receive completely different outcomes. One reaches for her hand, and she naturally accepts it. Another does the same, and she subtly withdraws. The action is identical, yet the emotional experience behind it is completely different. Most men focus on copying behaviors, when the real difference lies in how she feels. Picture this scenario. You're sitting beside a woman at a cafe. The conversation is easy. There's laughter, maybe a bit of playful teasing. At some point, you lightly touch her arm while emphasizing a point. The touch itself isn't what matters. What happens immediately after tells you everything. Does she lean a little closer without realizing it? Does her conversation continue smoothly, without hesitation? Does her posture remain loose and comfortable? Or does her body stiffen slightly? Does she shift in her seat? Does she create just a bit more distance? That reaction is instinctive. It happens before she consciously decides anything. And instinct rarely hides the truth. Most people overlook this moment, yet it's one of the clearest indicators you'll ever get. There's psychology behind this. Humans are wired to interpret intention through touch. Research has shown that emotions like warmth, tension, reassurance, or discomfort can be recognized through physical contact alone. No words are required. Women, in particular, tend to be highly sensitive to these cues. Their nervous systems constantly scan for emotional safety. It isn't a deliberate thought process, it's automatic. So when you initiate contact, she isn't only noticing the physical sensation, she's sensing your state, your calmness or nervousness, your authenticity or hesitation, your confidence or uncertainty. If you're tense or forcing the moment, she feels it. If you're grounded and relaxed, she feels that too. Attraction cannot be manufactured because it's experienced, not performed. To understand this more clearly, think in terms of emotional zones. Instead of viewing the body as simple physical space, imagine it as layers of trust. Each layer represents a deeper level of comfort. Moving through them isn't about progression for its own sake. It reflects how safe and connected she feels around you. The first layer is neutral territory, arms and shoulders. This is where most interactions naturally begin. A light touch on the arm, a casual tap on the shoulder. These gestures are socially normal. By themselves, they don't indicate attraction. If she allows them, it simply means she's comfortable enough not to pull away. But even here, subtle information exists. Is her posture open or slightly guarded? Does she angle her body toward you or keep it turned away? Does she maintain steady eye contact or begin to disengage? These micro-responses matter more than any clever phrase. At this stage, she isn't deciding whether she wants you. She's deciding whether she feels comfortable around you. That's the foundation everything else builds on. Now move one level deeper, hands and wrists. Holding hands carries more meaning than it appears. It suggests connection, presence, and shared attention. When she allows that contact, even briefly, she's opening a small door emotionally. The wrist is even more revealing. It's sensitive, vulnerable, and not typically touched casually. If you lightly touch her wrist and she remains relaxed, no withdrawal, no tension, it often signals that her guard is softening, not completely, but noticeably. There's a quiet acceptance forming. The key is not rushing. This isn't about moving from one level to another mechanically. It's about whether she's naturally inviting you forward. When things are aligned, it doesn't feel like escalation. It feels like flow. There's an unspoken rhythm. When you're in sync with that rhythm, interactions become effortless instead of calculated. Now we move into a more telling zone, the waist and lower back. This area creates a different kind of reaction because she often doesn't fully see it coming. When you gently guide her through a doorway with a light touch at her lower back, or when proximity naturally places your hand near her waist, her response is almost entirely subconscious. She doesn't analyze it. She feels it immediately. In that split second, her body answers one question. Does this closeness feel comfortable? If she tenses, steps away, or quickly adjusts, it isn't harsh rejection. It's simply information. Her system is saying the comfort level isn't there yet. But if she remains relaxed, maybe even leaning slightly toward you, trust is beginning to deepen. From there, the interaction enters a far more personal layer, one that involves vulnerability rather than simple comfort. This next layer centers around areas that humans instinctively protect: the neck and the face. Biologically, the neck is vulnerable. It's close to vital points, and because of that, people naturally guard it. When someone becomes comfortable allowing closeness there, it reflects a deep level of trust. The face carries even more significance. It's personal. It's expressive. It's where identity lives. When a woman is at ease with gentle contact near her face, when she doesn't recoil, when she remains soft and present, you've moved far beyond casual interaction. You're stepping into emotional closeness. But even deeper than that is a signal many people overlook entirely: her hair. Hair is more than appearance. For many women, it's tied to self-image, femininity, and control. It's something they instinctively adjust when they're nervous, play with when they're attracted, and fix when they want to feel composed. Because of that, it's rarely neutral territory. Allowing someone into that space is personal. If your hand naturally brushes a loose strand aside and she subtly leans into the gesture, if her head tilts without conscious thought, if her expression softens, her eyes briefly close, or a quiet smile appears, those responses aren't calculated. They're instinctive. That's the body relaxing at the same time as the emotions. That's comfort and trust aligning in one moment. And when those two elements come together, something important happens. Her guard lowers without her actively deciding to lower it. There's no internal debate. It simply happens because she feels safe. But this is crucial. None of this is about trying to manufacture a reaction. The moment it becomes forced, the authenticity disappears. She'll sense the intention immediately. What makes these signals meaningful is that they occur naturally, without pressure or strategy. When it's genuine, it doesn't feel like you're moving forward. It feels like the interaction is unfolding on its own. This is where many men misunderstand everything. They think attraction is about doing the right things in the right order. In reality, it's about awareness. It's about noticing how she responds, not trying to control the outcome. Instead of asking yourself how to make her like you, shift the question. Ask how she feels when she's around you. Is she relaxed? Is she open? Does her body remain at ease? If the answer is yes, you're already moving in the right direction. If there's tension or uncertainty, no technique will override that feeling. Touch, in this context, isn't a tool for influence. It's communication. Every small gesture creates a response. Every response reveals comfort or discomfort. The interaction becomes a quiet conversation without words. Her posture, her distance, her subtle movements. They're all telling you something about trust and emotional alignment. When you learn to read these signals, something changes. You stop guessing. You stop overanalyzing every sentence you said. You stop trying to act like someone else. Instead, you become attentive, present, aware of the moment. And that awareness naturally makes you calmer. You don't rush. You don't force. You simply respond to what's already happening. That alone creates a different energy, one that feels safe rather than pressured. Because ultimately, this isn't about getting closer physically. Physical closeness is only a reflection of emotional comfort. When she feels safe, proximity happens naturally. When she doesn't, distance appears just as naturally. So the real focus isn't on where you place your hand, it's on the feeling you create. Are you grounded? Are you present? Are you comfortable enough in yourself that she can relax too? Those qualities shape her reactions far more than any specific gesture. Once you understand this, attraction stops feeling unpredictable. You begin to see the quiet indicators, the way she stays close instead of drifting away, the way her posture opens, the way she accepts proximity without hesitation. None of these signals shout for attention, but together they form a clear picture. And the most revealing moments are always the ones that happen without effort. A gentle brush of hair that she leans into, a shared pause where distance disappears, a relaxed expression that wasn't there before. These are the moments when emotional safety and physical comfort overlap. When that overlap exists, everything feels natural. Conversation flows easier. Silence feels comfortable. There's no need to force progression because the connection is already unfolding. That's the real takeaway. Stop chasing outcomes. Stop thinking in terms of tactics. Start paying attention to comfort, trust, and how she responds to your presence. When those align, attraction doesn't need to be pushed. It develops on its own. Because in the end, this isn't really about understanding her body. It's about understanding the feeling she experiences around you. When she feels safe, relaxed, and at ease, closeness becomes effortless. And when you become someone who naturally creates that feeling, you don't need to guess anymore. The signals will already be there.